Welcome, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast with your host, Sana. Well, today we are diving into a topic that resonates, relates with everyone who's ever fought or battled with self doubt, or maybe have had the question, am I enough? And joining us in this conversation is incredible Nick Neirras, founder of Nick Neirras Holistic Lifestyle and the host of the popular You Are Worthless podcast. Listeners, Nick's journey from a high flying CA, chartered accountant, to a transformational coach and RTT therapist is inspiring for all of us. There are a lot of takeaways to take that from journey. She helps people out there shed limiting beliefs, heal emotional wounds, and realize, understand, and step into their true potential. And in today's conversation on the mindful living, we'll explore how to move from ego to soul and overcome self doubt through RTT, which is Rapid Transformational Therapy, and even spiritual awakening. So let's quickly get ready for a deep, transformative, and empowering conversation with Nick. Nick, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute pleasure, as always, to have you with us today.
Thank you so much again for having me. I am so excited. As with all of your episode podcasts right now, I am every time I come on, I am renewed. So let's get this going.
Lovely. So, Nick, when we talk about moving from ego to soul, what does that shift or transformation look like, and why it is so important for overcoming self-doubt?
Ego is limited. Soul is limitless. So if you are, I like to make it very simple, right? Ego is where you think that I am fearful of, say, speaking in front of an audience. Why? Because maybe I've been ridiculed when I was a kid. Therefore, an opportunity comes up in the future when you're um, at a job and you come and say, oh, hey, Nicolette, I'm just going to use my example, me as an example. Hey, Nicolette, this is your chance. You got promoted and now you're going to, give your welcoming speech. This is the very dream that I dreamed of since I was a kid. But because when I was at, say, grade 7, I stood up and then perhaps I had been ridiculed by my friends because of a pronunciation that I said wrongly. And that very moment just gets reenacted in my brain, leading up to that point in this current today, this I would say the moment, and say, oh, I actually am not good enough to speak in front of people because I was held back by my past self, my past limiting beliefs. Now, granted, you have already done your work. You studied your ass. I studied my ass. I studied English. Make sure that I am, capable of speaking every word uh, as best as I could. But at that moment, when you step into with because there's emotion attached to it, right? And that's how ego operates, because ego operates from the limited I would say point of view. So when you're in that ego self, it's you, the inner voice saying to you, are you good enough? Are you worthy for this? Now, and you step into your soul. How do you move from ego to soul? Being a soul, because you are a soul in a human body, you are life experiencing itself. And soul is limitless. Soul is light being. Soul is infinite. So if at the thought of that, if you could just take that moment and think, if you are limitless, and those are just conditioning of the past of the grade 7 Nicolette, who probably don't even matter anymore, those friends, you've already surpassed them in life. You are exactly where you're meant to be, and you are, how do I say this? How do I all the power that's in the cosmos is already bestowed upon you because
Right.
you are a soul, right? So if you just recognizing that and realizing that already sets you on the path that, hey, you are not your past, you are where you are right now. And that's why this is also tying back to the present, because there's nowhere else that you need to be except now. Now. The past is in the past and the future is in the future. That's your higher self. But the only timeline that we're living is just right now. So ego to soul is just fear limited to limitless. Now that's ego to soul. And then you were asking about benefits, right?
Shit.
The benefits. The benefits is Sana, if I want to be, let's say, okay, my dream, I'm just going to take myself as an example. My dream, I want to have businesses, or I want to be helping people out there. And I say, hey, I eventually, maybe I want to scale my business to a public listed company. And that, that I start aligning, I think we talked about this in previous episode, right? Start aligning myself with the soul through the true purpose as to why am I doing this? Why am I so hung up with moving people from the limited point of view to the limitless? Because it's so frustrating to see people, not, I'm not going to go far, just around me. They have this vision and dream that they want to be traveling. They want to be getting a new car. They want to be just leaving their job because they want to follow their passion, but they are scared of what people will say about them. You see, the external is affecting your internal. Now, that's the ego saying already. So, if you could block out the noise, now be very, very mindful of your energy field. That's when you stay focused within yourself, within your soul, and you get that download direct from the cosmos. Because again, what are we? We are soul beings in a human body.
Yep. Correct. When you mentioned, about that moment from your school days about the pronunciation, it kind of took me back to, a moment, where I was not exactly taunted, but maybe, to be specific, mocked upon for pronouncing an English word incorrectly, among my friends. And that time I was feeling so bad, so bad. Kind of, I was beating myself down. Why am I pronouncing this word incorrectly? Maybe I'm not capable of talking in English, or conversing in English properly with my friends. But in the long run, I feel that doesn't exactly matter. Why don't I just learn and better myself, just to feel
Exactly.
better? Because I don't have to declare to someone else that I'm the best person, with a very good English pronunciation or something. So that took me back to that moment.
So basically, and I just want to congratulate you for being able to break through that barrier. You see, Sana, have you ever imagined being a host for a podcast? This is what you do now. You're talking to people all around the world. And most of the people that you talk to, I can guess if you're getting most of your guests from Podmatch or maybe some other platform, they're from the US, which are native speakers of English. So give yourself credit, Sana. Just that's why the moment you just and the very fact that you were very graceful towards yourself and you said, hey, it's okay, whatever projections that they have upon you is actually not you, it's them. And you harness back the energy towards you to bettering yourself, because you know that doesn't define you. And we said that yesterday, growth mindset. instead of fixed mindset. Fixed mindset is where, oh, Sana, you are so, excuse my language, stupid. Why couldn't you get this right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. But you used that and you said, it's okay. I'm human. I'm learning along the way. We're never going to stop learning until we're 6 feet underground, right? And
Absolutely.
you're better than you where you were yesterday. And the only person that you need to compete with is actually yourself. That's it.
True. Lovely, lovely. So, Nick, of course, we have talked so much about your incredible transition from a CA to now a transformational coach. Uh, what was the role of mindfulness or, spiritual awakening in that journey?
I would attribute that about 95%. Do you know why? Because I was this hamster running on that wheel, just running because of what I thought, because I was following the crowd, the society. Everybody's running at my age, especially because I'm a millennial. Everybody was supposed to run towards something. Now, I didn't know what I was running for. Okay, fine. I did know I have a goal, but I had expended so many things besides. Um, I've taken everything else for granted. Let's just put it that way, and that maybe could have, had I placed more attention towards the people around me, cultivated those relationships, maybe, I would probably still be where I with my ex partner. But those, like I said, we are exactly where we're meant to be. And then things unfolded in the most, it was tragic, but it's a beautiful tragedy. It's a beautiful disaster because it's like everything fell into place as to where I'm supposed to be now. Mindfulness is where everywhere I look, every movie that I watch, I had to tune out everything and just be one with that moment. So let's say if I was reading, okay, I grew up with Backstreet Boys, for example, okay, and there's the song, what, I don't know what song, okay, quit playing games in my heart, for example, right? So when I was grieving with the loss of my relationship, every word that they sung was, I tried to understand it, because okay, why is it this way? And I connected it with I stepped, it's like almost I stepped into that binary code of the lyrics and say, quit playing games with my heart. And I felt every emotion that come up from me doing that activity. So that one, when I see a movie about uh somebody who's actually racing towards his or her career, especially in a setting that I loved, it was in New York, and I was like, oh, and it was partners, I think, and he was a consultant, just similar background, but then, and I looked at that and I compared it to my life, and I was like, huh, where did I do wrong? Why did I do this? And it was like question after question after question. I unraveled every layer. I peeled all the layers as to why I felt what I was feeling. And it was a mix of emotion. It was anger, it was guilt, it was shame, it was everything. Because I needed to get to the bottom of it, because you can never, when you're at the bottom, the only way is up, right? Because the deeper you can only meet yourself, you can only meet people around you as deep as you have met yourself. So if I really want to connect to anything and be mindful by being in the present, I have to be able to feel everything. Now, the feeling is, because I think I'm also very intuitive in the sense, and when you're in that space, you could take on energies, and energies can be good and can be bad. So I had to first I admit that during my earlier transformational period, I was meshing good and bad because I was just, making sure that I felt everything. And then when I truly transition and slowly start discerning what is right for me, which energy is mine and which is not mine, then I started creating that sacred boundary because energy speaks for itself, Sana. And I'm sure, when you walk into a room, a house, a group of people, you have the vibe. That's why it's called vibes, right? So being mindful is really being aware of everything you place your attention into. And attention is equivalent to energy. So that has helped me really sit with myself and decide the trajectory of my life. And that has also aided me in, I attribute mindfulness into how I finally made the choice to leave 9 to 5 and to pursue my calling.
Beautiful, beautiful, Nick. Wow. Also, you know, as you are into RTT, so how can spiritual awakening complement therapeutic practices like rapid transformational therapy, in creating uh, lasting or, much deeper personal transformation?
So RTT is actually made of Gestalt solution, where it's a combination of hypnotherapy, hypnosis, and therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, neuro linguistic programming, as well as mindfulness. So RTT gets to the root of where, when, and how you have these self-limiting beliefs, which normally stems from childhood experiences, repeated trauma, or uh, childhood experiences, trauma, or repeated conditionings. So, and spiritual awakening is is you shedding your ego, your false self, your false identity, needing external validation, an example, and stepping into your true soul's calling. Now, already from that, if you see that perspective, there's already a thin line between the two. You're shedding your limiting beliefs, which is the ego, and your spiritual awakening, also shedding ego, stepping into your soul's purpose. So spiritual and RTT, what I love about it, why I resonate so much is because if you can if you see it, it's actually the lines are already blurred and it's already aligned to your soul. And what is the truth here? We are souls in human body. And I cannot say this enough. We operate from two, our mind is divided into two, conscious and subconscious. Like I mentioned before, conscious is I'm very conscious of what I'm doing now. I'm aware that I'm in this house. I am talking to you. I'm on a podcast. So it's conscious. But subconscious is that I am holding my feet, for example, when I'm talking to you. And I'm subconsciously explaining to you because I've already say I've learned about this when I was doing my therapy and I've already recorded it. Sorry, my subconscious mind has really recorded everything that I have learned from my environment, right? So that is subconscious and that is the belief that, hey, Nicolette, I am sitting for a podcast right now and I can talk to Sana about this because I've done it. Now, if I were unconscious, I wouldn't be able I wouldn't be talking to you. But in my head, the moment, let's say tomorrow, there's another interview, I am able to bring myself to a podcast and speak to you again. So that's unconscious. Now I picked up all of this. So and subconscious doesn't care whether you're picking up, you're recording good and bad. So they record everything 24/7. So imagine if you have bad experience with, let's say, again, example, yeah, during my studies with RTT. And if I had bad experience with RTT, how do you think in I'm going to be in the best version of myself to be able to talk about RTT to you and your listeners. Now that's the condition. Now it's, and if I'm not aware, I'll be like, I don't want to I don't want to be doing RTT anymore. I want to be talking about something else. But if I am aware and I am truly detaching myself, now this is again the being a soul being, and then being mindful that you can detach yourself. You're not your circumstances. I would say to myself, okay, if um I've detached it, and then you, Nicolette, this is RTT, and this is what resonates with you, and it sits with your body, it sits with your soul, and therefore I've integrated it in my, I would say, essence, and be one with it, and that translate into the energy that I can give to you and your listeners. So, coming back to all of it, Sana, I would like to tie it. I know we're not ending the conversation just yet. If I could give one takeaway for anybody, and I remind myself every time, is that what is the basic thing that you need to remember if you are in any situation? What is that basic tenet? To me, you are a soul. You are a soul being, and what is a soul being? Just soul operates at a higher vibration. And if you're light beings, meaning if you are aware of the map of consciousness, right? In the middle, you have the acceptance part, and then you have, as you move higher up to of the map, you got enlightened. This is where Gautama Buddha is, Krishna is, Jesus is, and then the lowest being shameful, right? If when you're down here, you're heavy, and when you're in the middle, you feel like, oh, okay, you're accepting the flow of life. And when you're joyful, you vibrate higher and you're lighter. So yeah, so that's what it means by, it's a combination of spiritual awakening is a combination of being mindful of where you are, but being also careful, or just be wary of where you vibrate at that map of consciousness. So how if I were to tie this up, look at yourself as the vessel that you get a download of a vessel just placed on earth, as because you are the cosmos, the universe experiencing life in itself. So, and you have the power. That's why we all have free will, Sana. I mean, I could give you this knowledge, but it is up to you to apply it. And if you're not ready, you're not ready, and you can't force the change. You can't force spiritual awakening. It just have to come towards you. And but hopefully in this lifetime, everybody gets to experience that. But if not, lifetime is gonna come. At least I believe in that. And then this is where we continue until we learn our lesson, and we cleanse ourselves from this. So yeah, I'm not I'm not sure if I answered RTT, but yeah, RTT goes straight to the subconscious. It tells you where, when, and how you actually acquired all this. Why am I not good enough to speak in front of people? Why don't I why am I not why don't I lose weight? Because probably you needed I could give you a very clear example. A quick example is that, Nicolette used to eat sweets because, and I gained weight because of the sweets that I eat. But what happened was, I wanted I wanted attention from my father. Whenever he comes from home, the only time he would spend time with me is when he buys me sweets. So, and I cannot stop eating that because of what? Because I was searching for that love from my dad since I was a kid. But now it has transpired, the effect of it has transpired to me present day, that I cannot lose weight because I have addiction towards sweet. So it's much deeper than just the sweet. It's actually the emotion that's attached to that. Why? those issues that surfaced today is because of my attachment that I felt unlovable by my own father. So RTT helps to unravel that, helps the person understand the link between what happened in your childhood and now. And once you understand, understanding is power, then you have then you can have the tool and you make the change because you have the choice to change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, this so many things are now coming to my mind. First of all, as you rightfully said, you know, not maybe in this lifetime if my soul is not having that spiritual awakening, what I believe, and of course you also do that, maybe in some other lifetime, because soul is energy, and, scientifically, to quote scientifically, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It gets from some form to some other form. Soul always stays in this cosmic world. And secondly, I understand, how beautifully you have intertwined mindfulness and spiritual awakening, which focuses on living in the present, and with the help of RTT or the subconscious, which, emphasizes on revisiting some kind of trauma or experiences from past life, not life, past, or maybe your childhood or any past experiences. So these two, you beautifully have integrated in your work. And third, when you talk about your childhood experience, and your tendency to indulge on sweets, I also think, many of my weaknesses are somehow attached with my childhood. I'll be very very honest, and this may sound weird, but when I am alone during the day, I absolutely feel nothing. I am completely, I enjoy being on my own. But when it's nighttime, I am so scared of being alone. To be honest, I do not turn off my lights. I always make sure some kind of loud music, at least which I can, which is audible to me, not my neighbors or anyone around. I can, have that experience that yes, I am not alone. Somebody, or, I am there, and I'm just, surrounded by people talking or something doing. And that is kind of attached to my childhood, where, I was never alone. I either used to be with my sister, be with my parents. I never had that, opportunity to have my own bedroom. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I think that somehow it goes to my childhood. I was always surrounded by my family members. And sometime during night, I always, crib about, why am I not with my family? Why they're not with me? Maybe I should call them. But in the daytime, I'm absolutely fine. And I don't know why. But I can totally resonate with what you said.
Yeah. And well, thank you so much for being very candid on sharing your story. And if my guess is correct, it's because yes, you never had, nobody has ever left you before. And now that you have to live by yourself, you attach that feeling of um why, I would say, why isn't anybody with me? Or there must have been something that triggered you when you were a kid that they had maybe when they're there, it's like the world is not afraid of you. For example, I don't know, I could conquer the world, or I'm safe. Sorry, put it simply, you're safe. But once you don't have anybody around you at night, you feel like, oh my, it's danger. But there's I could, I don't want to put words into to your mouth, or in this, maybe you've attached something. Usually it's the meaning that you attach to it. So, well, you know where to find me, Sana, if you want to explore more.
Wow, wow. Nick, you know, what kind of mindfulness-based techniques would you recommend for clients or maybe listeners who are struggling with self-doubt, or feelings of inadequacy, loneliness, or maybe low confidence?
Low confidence. Okay. Mindfulness. Whew. Okay. Simple question for a simple answer. I know it's a juxtaposition, right? Simple, but it's also difficult, but it's actually simple. We are simple beings, simple creature with extra, I don't know, this complex network, but actually we're still soul. So I'd like to see it that way. So for what I can advise people for mindfulness practices is the first thing that we come to this earth is breathing. That is, we don't need to pay money. Hopefully, we will not get to that time where we need to pay money because, we see dystopian movies that start paying money for air, right? Which is the very, very gift that God has created for us in this earth. This is, place where we get it's for free. And we take it for granted, Sana. You get up in the morning, you just you just think that you're entitled. Don't you think that you're entitled? Oh, I'm human, so I have to have this air because I'm human. I'm entitled to this. Are you really? You're given the chance to be here. Now, what I'm saying is breathe, be grateful, at least these two. And then you want to take it up a notch, say your affirmation. I am. Not I will, I am. Again, because you're in the present. If you want to get your $10 million, $1 billion, or your empire, I am building my billion-dollar empire. I am a CEO of blah blah blah. I am happy. If you there's this, it's even proven that if your body says something that you believe, it will perk up. If your body says something that is not right or you're lying, your body starts, you start slouching because your soul doesn't sit right. Right. I mean, I was scrolling through my Instagram and I saw this great interview, Steven Bartlett, and then there's a lady that says it's shown in RTT. So when you say I can just show, because our mind is very suggestible. So you have this two hand especially when you're subconsciously, right? Because it's recording. When you're in subconscious, when you're in hypnosis, when you have two hands, you place your hands right in front of you, and then you can just, I'm giving you instruction. Okay, in your left hand, this is your left hand. You have this super heavy pail of sand. Okay, and then on your right hand, you have very very light feathery bird's feather on holding on this right hand, and then you will see the moment you hear the instruction, you will see your hand starts to tilt like this because your mind believes it. You see how it has that placebo effect. So imagine that and again, this is all energy. Thinking is energy. So if that very simple act can make you flip your hand, and without you even realizing there's nothing, it's actually just your mind creating that reality. Can you imagine if you focus on or create building your dreams, your life, shattering that limiting beliefs that you cannot talk in front of you? I can tell you, it is all transformable. It is all reversible. We just need to go into the root and then switch that, get into the root of things. Why did you think that? When, where, and how? And then I can tell you, all your beliefs will be reformed. So yeah, that again, I'm integrating RTT and mindfulness and just staying true to, being the vessel from the divine.
Absolutely. Wow, Nick. So before we wrap up, of course, thank you once again for such an enlightening conversation. It doesn't even feel like an interview. It's, just a heart to heart conversation, every time we talk. So, we all appreciate your insights into RTT, spiritual awakening and self-worth. They're truly, truly empowering. And before we wrap up, I have two questions for you, Nick. So I think this is a very, very important question. So you help, you are really passionate about helping women break free from societal norms and imposter syndrome. Uh, what's one practical step women can take today to start embracing their worthiness? Because in my culture, in my society, not sure about others, but if I'll be very honest, uh, predominantly women, they believe, okay, I'm only for household chores, and my responsibility is to keep the family uptight and keep it running. If I fail in doing that, then I'm worthless. Or maybe if I even want to take a risk and I'm not successful in that, I am worthless. And it kind of just validates that external or societal tones which we get to hear. So how women can take that charge to embracing their worthiness?
That question. And I'm going to say this, love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sana, change doesn't happen unless we change ourselves. And change means focusing on you. Because when you focus on you, the world around you changes. Now, I don't want to be advocating, women. I mean, they are women are very much, how do I say this? Being viewed as, that's why we're all this fighting for equality and whatnot. Now, but I don't want to get into the divine feminine and divine masculine, right? But in society, it's hierarchical where the men are superior and we cannot escape that. But practical step, if you are a housewife or right now listening, if you are a professional staff or you're working corporate and you're surrounded in a male dominated field, fool yourself. Or if you're a student in, say, for example, a male dominated industry, tech, engineering, I don't know, anything, right? Or just, it could be the environment could be different, where you're just feeling worthless. I would say, why are you feeling worthless? Is usually, excuse me, because you are expending your precious energy into thinking about the people around you because you are scared of what they will think about you. The only limiting things, the only thing that's stopping a person, and I've learned this about myself too, is because I focus on what people will think of me. Yeah, I fear of judgment. If they judge you, so what? If they judge you, are they gonna, are they going to, at least for me, but you got to be realistic with your where you are. So at least for me, I would say, do you put food on my table? I don't think so. And you don't know what I'm doing. If it sits right in my soul, I know what I'm doing. I believe in what I'm doing. So I do it. And that means harnessing my energy back, loving myself, giving me grace that I cannot pour into your cup. If I'm a housewife, I need to, um, I cater to my husband and to my kids. Yes, you need to do that. But first things first, Sana, for you to be able to do that, you have to put your, you have to make sure that your holy grail, your ace of cups, is filled. And how do you do that? By listening to your body. If I need to, get my hair done, because what, get my hair to get my makeup done, get my nails done, what does that make you feel? It makes you feel good automatically, right? So when you feel good, there's good energy. The household gets uplifted. Your relationship gets better with your husband. Your relationship with your kids get better. And maybe you perform better. You will perform better at work. Because why? You feel good about yourself. Because why? You took the energy back from thinking about what people um, think about you. You put it onto you. So, one key step that I would like to echo to the listeners is prioritize yourself, and not in a, you know, demeaning way to the other people around them, but prioritizing yourself because you, the person that you're going to be with the longest in your life is yourself.
Exactly.
So why are you neglecting yourself? You know. But yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, Nick. And also, if my listeners they want to connect with you, I'm very sure they would love to do how they can do that.
Yes. Thank you, Sana. So, if anybody out there is loving my story or just want to hear more, just want to reconnect with me or work with me, you guys can head on to my website, www.thenickneirrasholisticlifestyle.com. I am on LinkedIn, Nicolette Neirras. I am on Instagram, holistic lifestyle underscore with Nick. And I also have a podcast. It is now on Spotify, Your Worthless. Read that again. The Juxtaposition of Your Soul. On YouTube, Your Worthless Podcast. And on TikTok, the Nick Neirras Podcast. But I'm available if that is a lot to take. All of this information is in my website.
Lovely, lovely. We'll anyway mention it in the show notes for our listeners. And Nick, thank you so much for this absolutely beautiful conversation on mindfulness, RTT, and spiritual wisdom. It really, really offers us all a powerful path to healing and empowerment and, personal growth. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sana, for the opportunity again.
And to all our listeners, uh, moving from ego to soul, it's a journey of self awareness, enlightenment, patience, and compassion. Self compassion, of course, for others as well, for your loved ones. So take the tools, perspectives, and inspiration from Nick, which she has shared today, and start integrating them into your daily life. If you wish to connect with her, refer to the show notes along with this episode. And make sure to check out her podcast, You're Worthless. And as always, if you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who might need it. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us for more inspiring conversations on the Mindful Living podcast. Until next time, stay mindful and stay connected to your inner peace. Thank you.